Alrighty, it's time for Hot Topics, and this is definitely
got a good one today.
An interesting one. Yeah. You and I were watching a show, and then we did some more research, found out about this one to see if it was true or not. But there's a new sentencing option, and it's sending first-time offenders, to church instead of going to jail.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's going on. It's in Alabama.
This is incredible.
It is different, and there's a lot of people that have mixed reactions. It's almost like 50-50, but 56 churches have agreed to take part in this. It's called Operation Restore Our Community in Alabama. And they wanted to make first-time, small offense criminals,
nonviolent
offenders, more productive in the community. So instead of you can either serve 30 days in jail or a year's worth of Sundays in church.
So 52 church
services or 30 consecutive days in jail as part of your sentence.
52 days. 52 days in church has got to be more painful than 30 days in prison.
You are so wrong for that.
No, I'm totally torn about this.
The pastors are going to monitor their attendance.
Okay, so no extra cost to the city.
No extra cost to the city. The pastors would check in as they come into church, and then they would do their 52 Sundays, and they're done. Or they could just do 30 days in jail. So what do you think about that?
I have a problem with this. I really do. I mean, I think our jails are overcrowded, for sure. I think a lot of these minor drug offenses, we're turning people into criminals by putting them in jail. So I agree with the instinct behind it to get less people in jail. But the idea that church is the answer for everybody, are they going to provide synagogues for Jewish people? Are they going to provide Hindu temples and Buddhist temples? Are they sending them exclusively to Christian churches? What about the separation of church and state?
Well, okay, to answer one of your questions, that was my first question, was about the denominations and obviously your religious preference. I'm sure they would have to do that. That would be a totally different ball game if they were forcing you to go to a church that had absolutely nothing to do with your religious beliefs. Okay,
right.
So that's one thing they would have to figure out. And I think this is just a test here. And again, the criminals do have a choice whether they want to do this or not. They're not being forced to go to church. They can do the time in jail.
I don't think this will hold up in court because a long time ago there was a case where some guy was offered like 15 years in jail or he could be sterilized after a rape conviction. And that was ruled that even giving him the option of that other thing was ruled cruel and unusual punishment. That offering the ability for, and I don't like the idea of bringing church into the judicial process.
Well,
it's not about that.
I feel like this. I feel like sometimes, and I don't know how to phrase this correctly, but I feel like we put so much pressure on people saying, we don't want them going into church, keep them out of church. We don't want to use that as an option. But if it's helping them, and let's just say that they are in church for 52 weeks,
right?
Okay, the 52 Sundays. And one of those Sundays, they happen to hear something that would turn their life around versus being in jail for 30 days with other criminals that could actually help you out on the outside once you get out.
Let's talk about what happens in jail.
What's the worst that could happen if they are in church? Stealing some money out of the collection plate. That's a whole other story.
I know that. But what is the evidence that going to church makes you a better person?
No one is saying that, and there's a lot of people in church that really need to be in there 365 days, whatever, 52 days out of the year, add 10 more. Maybe they should be in there longer.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But here's the thing. It's like, take them out and then we pay for them to be in jail for 30 days and it may or may not work?
I agree, but part of a civilized society is maybe revisiting our laws on what's putting them in jail for 30 days in the first place. We do halfway houses, we do drug and alcohol programs.
Some people might say they weren't in church to begin with, and that's what puts
and that's what got them in jail.
In the first
place. I don't like it. I don't like the mixing of church and state. I feel like your relationship with God should be your relationship with God, but if you're being sent there by a judge,
very interesting. Well, this is not going to go. We could talk about this forever, but check it out. Let us know what you think on our Twitter page and Facebook page.
Facebook, tell us.
We'll be right back.